And let the party begin. Ryan is Phil and Rye back on Listen Up, fresh off of the Big East crown. Ryan, the Uconn Huskies are 2021-22 Big East champs. Boy, oh boy, how sweet it is, huh? First of all, I just want to shout out to you. Thanks for coming on every episode with me so far. This season, man. I mean, it's been a journey. It's been a ride. It's not done yet, right? It's not done yet. Gino always says that's one more thing on the checklist checked off. There's
Right.
still a lot of things to check before you can actually throw away. Hopefully, they'll throw away that long list in the garbage can in the beginning of April, if you know what I mean. But we're gonna get it right down to it, Ryan. Not much time tonight. Coming on a late night podcast for you all. We appreciate you all joining us again as the Uconn Huskies, Ryan, are Big East champions. What about in this game? I wasn't expecting it to be this a 30-point victory,
30-point win. Yeah.
70-40. So again, I thought Villanova was going to come out of the gates a little bit more fired up. But hey, give credit to Gino and company. They adjusted, especially on defense. We're going to hit on that later on in the pod, Ryan. Just tell me the little things that you really liked and how you saw, because I know you were big on this game on defense. I mean, what did they change from? Again, the Uconn Huskies had a lot of players that returned, rather that they weren't available the last game against Villanova when Uconn lost. But Ryan, man, I mean, it looks like that Huskies really adjusted well on defense.
Yeah, and UConn facing the Big East Player of the Year and Maddie Seagrass and Villanova Wildcats. The last time these two teams played, defeated UConn by 3 points. And of course, UConn was without Ducharme Beckers and Olivia Nelson-Adota for that game. So much different game yet again for UConn with a healthy team. AZ Fudd, Kristen Williams found their shots early, and Olivia Nelson-Adota's passing in this game was just phenomenal from her. 4 assists in the first quarter. The way UConn sets up their plays with Olivia or whoever the center is on the floor at the time, and just let their guards cut to the basket, and the centers just make beautiful passes to those guards. And in the second quarter, it was Dorka making the beautiful passes yet again. And it's just perfect as it gets as far as their passing and offensive game goes. And that goes back to Gino and this coaching staff yet again. Gino practicing these girls, heading into these games, and they practice it until they get it right, and it really shows up in these games. And the defense yet again for UConn was spot on. They played them physical and aggressive all game long, and especially in the first half, held Villanova to just 18 points. And Villanova is a very, very talented offensive team with a lot of good guards on their team, but shut them down for most of the first half.
Yeah, and let's go over the box score. So, I mean, coming out and at the end of quarter one, right? At the end of quarter one, it looks like it was a 17-10 ball game. So I checked and I'm like, well, Ryan, this might be a game after all. It might not be a runaway. But as they inch toward, I mean, and of course, I texted you at halftime, and you're like, Phil. I said, man, it looks like it might be over, Ryan. You said, Phil, it might not be over quite yet. Villanova came in a very hot shooting team, but Ryan, I want to ask you, as far as Villanova in this ball game, as far as Villanova, do you think that they had the upper hand or the advantage in the last ball game that they won against UConn? Was it the 3-point? The 3-point shooting that Villanova carries with them, or just the ability to drive to the basket altogether on offense?
I think it's mainly the 3-point shooting. Villanova took 23 3-point attempts in this game, and they really tried to get those shots to fall, but UConn just wouldn't allow it. They played them close all game long, and some of the shots Villanova took didn't even hit the rim, hitting off the backboard or missing the rim completely. So really had Villanova flustered, as most of their opponents UConn faces are flustered to start these games.
Yeah.
It's just the pace that UConn is able to play at, especially all throughout the game now that they have a fully healthy roster, and they're able to split these minutes to about 20 to 25 per player. And that really shows, especially going down the stretch in these third and fourth quarters. after coming out of the break at halftime. And just creating turnovers yet again, and setting up UConn's transition game on the offensive side of things, getting those transition buckets really goes a long way in helping UConn's offense. And most of the time, it's UConn's defense that really gets that offense going.
And let's talk a little bit about, I mean, what Evina Westbrook again, Ryan led all scorers with 13 in this game. I mean, what it seems like we mentioned this name every single podcast or every single episode this season. Talk a little bit about how much this program, I mean, would they really be here right now without Evina Westbrook? I'm sure. I mean, I don't want to say they would. I don't want to say they would not. It's hard to tell because this season, Ryan, so many players had so much playing time going for them. And again, I like that a lot, building up this program, because in the future, I think that'll pay off a lot. Um, Not counting the seniors, obviously, as they move on in their careers, get drafted or go overseas, whatever. But I mean, just talk a little bit about Avina Westbrook and what she's meant to this team, Ryan.
Yeah, just incredible play from her all season long. And her first 2 years were with Tennessee, and then coming to UConn for a junior and senior year. Just a really great player for UConn for these 2 years. And
Yeah.
like you mentioned, led the team in scoring yet again with 13 points. And it just seems like every game she finds a way to make an impact, whether she's starting or coming off the bench. And just a spectacular game from her all the way around. Aaliyah Edwards also had a great game, 12.6 rebounds from her. Nelson Adota had 11 points, five rebounds, and 4 assists. Floyd Williams and Ducharme had 9 each. So really balanced scoring yet again for UConn. And that really goes a long way too, that everybody's able to contribute. And it's not just one player doing all the work. So it's really great to see.
Yeah. And then of course you said Maddie Segrest for Villanova. I mean, what she's meant to that program, right? I mean, she led all scores with 16. So definitely Villanova, give credit to them because they showed a lot of heart in this game, a lot of hustle. I mean, they tried to follow it up. They tried to follow it up with another victory against UConn back to back, right? Because their last time that they met, Villanova won. Is that correct?
Yeah, by three
Okay.
points. And it's
So
almost
I just want to make
impossible
sure they
to.
didn't meet in between there again during the regular season. I want to make sure I was checking the schedule. I wanted to make sure that was the last game against these two. Villanova won.
Yeah, and it's hard to beat UConn at one time and over the course of the
Yeah.
season. So to be able to beat them twice would have just been almost impossible. It's something we've almost never seen before in about 20 years of UConn's program history. So
Yeah.
UConn fought hard. Excuse me, Villanova fought hard in this game. They really gave it
Mhm.
all they had. But again, UConn just too much energy, too much pace throughout the whole entire game, and their defense just shut the Villanova Wildcats down.
UConn had the players back and healthy, something that they really did not have the last time that they met. And again, just talk a little about how, would we even be here right now talking about another Big East championship for the Huskies? Because back in, what was it, early December, when UConn was falling to an unranked team, what was that, Georgetown? Remind me again, who was that?
Yeah, Georgia Tech, yeah,
Georgia Tech. Okay,
yeah.
Georgia Tech. And I'm like, man, Ryan, I mean, so it looked like the sky was falling just after that one loss. And I mean, it's just like a world of difference. I mean, it's, to be here right now and in the beginning of March, early March, and be talking about a Big East crown, man. I mean, that's big. That's big. I mean, look how quickly this team turned around.
Yeah, and losing to unranked Oregon too. Of course, Oregon's a pretty talented team as
That
well.
was
They had
another
their
one.
big
Yep.
three, but
Yep.
had to go
Mhm.
into Oregon, and that was a really tough game that they lost as well.
Yep.
And of course, losing to South Carolina and Louisville, two very good teams. Maybe they'll see them again in March Madness. We'll have to see how the seeding and all the bracket ends up working out for UConn and all the other teams next Sunday night. But yeah, that's going to be really interesting as well, because I think UConn with this Big East tournament win and this winning streak, I think it's a very good. They make a very good case for themselves for that number 2 seed now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, because and I go over the list here. What Gino? I made a list some of the topics he brought up in his pregame press conference. A shout out to I think it's SNY channel for that. Interviewing him before the game. Um, so that I mean, obviously he knew it was a big one. You know, Villanova had it seemed like Villanova may have had UConn's number there for a while during this season. Ryan, so I'll go over it. He goes very quickly. He goes, UConn worked on their defense in practice leading up to this game. It was all about defense. You pointed that out before I even said it. So that obviously paid off, holding them to 40 points. Everyone reacting, and then he brought up everyone reacts different in championship games. I thought that was important because not only reacting differently in championship games, hey, look, I mean, you lost to this team. Not even what was it about a month? I don't know exact date. What is it? Was it in
Yeah,
November when
about a
they?
month ago. I believe it was
Okay,
February 6th, I believe. Yeah.
so not only reacting to championship games differently when you approach the court. Hey, you're facing a team that just defeated you not too long ago. So that was big. That was big for Connecticut to gather up and hold their heads high and say, "Hey, we got this, right? We got this." And then play with the lead. Um he goes play with the lead the whole game. I thought that was interesting that last one. Now I'll see what you say. That last point there, he made a big emphasis on that with the reporter that or whoever the lady was that was interviewing him. He goes play he wanted to play this game. Obviously, you want to play any game with the lead, but he specifically said you want to play with the lead the whole game against Villanova. He said because hey, if the script turns and they get the lead, it's going to be that much harder to come back and the momentum switches just like that. And that's I thought I was like, man, that's a good point to bring up to Ryan because how many times in not only basketball but in sports generally, how tough is it? I think that's a big coaching factor is how tough is it to come back when you're facing deficits, not large deficits, but just small, even small when you're only losing by 7, 10, 14. Man, it's tough. And that changes your whole capability of coaching. It makes it that much harder. And that I think that's what really challenges coaches, Ryan, when you're actually losing ball games. How do you climb back up the mountain and get back into the ball game and eventually, hopefully, win it?
Yeah, because UConn started this game on a 9-0 run, and they did lead the whole entire game. So they did what Gino told them to do and wanted them to do. And I think that just goes back to Villanova's shooting and all the guards on this team and how they're able to just shoot the three and really just shoot anywhere on the floor. And at halftime of this game, Gino goes to the reporter, even though we have this lead, we know how good Villanova can shoot the ball. And they're almost an impossible team to guard. And he was really proud of the way UConn was playing defense, and they came out again in the second half and played just incredible defense, getting those steals and block shots and creating transition baskets for their offense. So really just all coming together these past couple of weeks with this healthy team. And it's really paying off, and hopefully it does pay off going into March Madness.
That's it, Ryan. We're actually going to take the week off. We're not going to get to comments tonight. We apologize for that. We're going to take the week off. We're going to let UConn Huskies fans soak this one in because they
Big
deserve it,
one,
right? I mean,
yeah.
after everything this team has been through this season, and the sky's the limit. I can't wait to see what happens in March, Ryan, as we approach the tournament. And we know you all can't wait. Ryan, it is Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday at 8 o'clock. Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I can't wait to see where everybody gets ranked and who UConn gets to play first.
That's the most important thing. I cannot wait to see what team that they get matched up with first. And just a quick analyzing very quickly on Paige Becker's tonight. The amount of time that she played, it looks like that they only gave her about 6 minutes, or excuse me, they gave her 8 minutes in this ball game. Ryan, she scored 2 points, had 1 rebound, 1 assist. is that something that Gino's keeping in the back of his mind? I mean, this is go time. So, I mean, yes, tonight was important, but hey, how about next week?
Yeah, and I think that they were talking about before this game and pre-game shooting warmups that Beckers was dealing with a little knee soreness. So playing those back-to-back games kind of got to her a little bit,
Okay.
playing around 16 minutes. So I think Gino in this one really was monitoring that knee, but she looked good out there in those minutes that she played. Yeah, just those 2 points really didn't make a huge factor, but even those little minutes that she played, you can
Yeah.
really tell she's taking control of the team, calling out plays, pointing to everybody on the floor where they need to be. So just her leadership on the floor really makes a difference for this team.
So I may have been right because I know the last episode I told you that I may have caught her favoring that. I don't know if it was the left or the right knee. What did she hurt? The right? Was it the right leg?
I can't
I
remember
can't
now
remember.
whether it was the right or the left
But
one.
she was definitely, I saw her favoring her leg a little bit. Kind of not really running correctly down the court.
Yeah.
Like we're used to see her running. So I mean, yeah, I may have been right. Now I didn't want to start any rumors, but I may have been right. So it looks like that you said that she was suffering a little bit of soreness in that knee.
Yeah, through pregame warmups and Gino before the game wasn't even sure if she was going to be able to play. So it's good that she at least got a couple minutes out there and a little bit of playing time to kind of keep her momentum going a little bit heading into March Madness.
That's it, Ryan. We will take the week off. We will be back next Monday morning early, hopefully, if I can get you out of bed, right?
Yeah.
Monday morning, very early, Ryan, to discuss we'll discuss go over the comments for these past two videos, and then we will discuss the opponent that UConn will face in the NCAA tournament. We cannot wait. Ryan, it's time to party in Connecticut again. Final score 70-40. Villanova loses to Connecticut. Connecticut, Ryan, the Big East champions 2022. Ryan, I will see you next week.